We've got some explaining to do. Literally. Get under the hood. Get me up to speed. Shoot the 411. Give me the deets. WTF is the TLDR. Skip the fluff. Tell the faff to F off. All signal, no noise. Get me smart. Make me an armchair expert. Make me, well, a little more me. My brain on steroids. We've all been there, trying to make sense of something only to get bogged down in pesky factoids and logical gray areas. I want to skip the intro, but stop before the comments. And no fake news for me, just the straight dope. Injected into my brains. Explainers get us all aligned, cutting out the middleman, or other. So it's just the good stuff. After all, I believe it was Weird Twitter's very own Bard who said it best. Mansplain is man's pain. But I'm getting derailed when I should be getting detailed. Explainers keep us ahead of the curve and in lerve with knowledge. Ermagerd, explainers. Forget Spark Notes or Cliff Notes. Today we're dropping Miles and Joe's notes on that wacky, wonderful world of explainers. Let's play, nerds.
Welcome to Millennial Excellence.
It's Millennial
the show
Excellence,
where we are constantly seeking to redefine itself. You know, like we're working on our tagline. I was kind of thinking, in light of our topic today, but also the show itself, like, you know, the show in its highest form is like a mix of info and entertainment. So I've been thinking of a portmanteau that could sum up that. And so I'm thinking like millennial excellence, intermation, which is a combination of information and entertainment.
Do you think people...
Intermation.
I love it, but unfortunately I'm now colored by the explainer that you provided ahead of time, so I'm just not sure if others will understand that. But I mean, I guess, you know, it's time will tell. We have not had any UXR user feedback yet because we have not dropped, of course. So time will tell. Maybe that will be the one. But I do like it. I already forget it, but I do like it.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's put a pin in that and come back to it next time we regroup.
Let's put a pin in it and let's unpin the episode and let the hot air fly as we discuss the world of explainers. Now, right before the call, not to tell tales out of school, and this is a form of school, you were telling me that you found this to be kind of an abstract concept for an episode of Millennial Excellence so early on.
Yeah, well, I think it's our most abstract yet. I just
feel really criticized. No, just kidding.
I'm ready for that challenge. I love abstract, postmodern. But I mean, what made you feel compelled to bring it in to talk about today?
The more I was thinking about it, the more I was thinking that this is actually like, I don't know if we've been joking yet on this show, but if we were, I would say, all joking aside, this to me seems like the definitive millennial form of communication. I think that explainers and sort of getting up to speed on stuff and feeling like you need to get smart fast on something is something that is a millennialism, I think. And, you know, I don't want to spoil the whole episode, but it actually kind of makes me sad because I think there's a beauty in not knowing. I like not knowing stuff, and I especially like not learning things. And that's probably a running theme of the show is that as you are all too aware, and we have the deleted episode to prove it, I also am not even really interested in preparing for this show. But I do think that, you know, the explainer is like, I understand it. It's like, let's take information and break it down into bullet points so that people can understand it quickly. But you're not only are you losing the beauty of learning with that. And this kind of predates AI as well, but it's the same sort of thing. You're like losing the actual action of struggling with something to learn about it, but you're also losing like the beauty and mystery of like, I don't even want to say not knowing, because once you consume information through an explainer, you don't know, but you think you know. But you're losing the kind of beauty of ignorance, the bliss, so to speak. So I think this is just, I have more to say, but I'll leave it there because I'm actually worked up about explainers.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing about them is they are a simplified and approachable medium to reproduce. So it gives, you can get explained, like as soon as you've been explained to, you have the expertise to explain to the next person.
Right, exactly. And I think that's, I got an ad, I think I screenshotted it. I can't find my phone right now, but I got an ad the other day that was like, it must have been an AI thing, but it was some sort of film, some sort of like SaaS type thing for Letterboxd users, and it was like to get you up to speed on film history. And literally the sub copy at the bottom of the ad said like, studies show people who know a lot about film are like better at conversations or something. it's so different. But I think there is this kind of like uniquely millennial insecurity where we all want to seem like we know what we're talking about, and the explainer is the way to do it. And I think even in my own life, I've noticed like I'll find people, to stick with film, I'll find people talking about, everyone's talking about a specific film one week. And then I like open the Criterion channel, and it's because it's featured on the homepage. It's like it's the explainer is a good way to, and I think perhaps it's a reaction to Gen X being like more gatekeeping and more like having this hidden knowledge that wasn't available through the internet. And then we got the internet, and we're like, oh my god, I have all this, I have all this access to all this knowledge. Now let me just turn it into bullet points so that I can quickly know it and move on. It's just like bizarre to me.
Yeah. It's like this impulse to know everything without having to do the work of everything, to do the work of anything. But I also think it's like, it's a predate of these like condescending TikToks and like Instagram stories that come out now. So I think the explainer is this weird middle ground between like underground zines and social media memery, which makes it very millennial.
It's true. It's like, it is actually, if there could be a millennial journalistic / marketing format, it must be the explainer. And I really think the more I talk about it, even in this preamble, I hate it. I fucking hate the explainer. So maybe we should just stop right now.
That would save plenty. That would do the world a service.
So in my prep today, though, I've looked through numerous articles who love to say we explained the explainer or explaining the explainer. The New York Times, why we write explainers, an explainer. Always a beautiful illustration on these annoying ass articles. But let's see, the author of this article, Sarah Barr, has written explainers on Tick Tick Boom, Avatar: The Way of Water, and how the White Lotus theme song became a club staple. And I actually want to add too, like, I think the explainer has like the concept of the explainer has sort of seeped its way into how people interpret art, so that I feel like even things like prestige TV are written so that they can be explained in the Reddit post explainer after. There's just like, the explainer is the destroyer of mystery in the world, I feel.
Yeah, whatever happened to the inexplicable?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, this New York Times article, where do reporters find ideas for explainers? Many explainers start when reporters themselves have questions about a topic in the news. That was the other thing I realized while reading it. Another precursor to this is the FAQ page, which of course is an SEO target. And they're not actually trying to answer your frequently asked questions. They're trying to pretend that the frequently asked questions are the search terms that will land you on their page.
Yeah, it's interesting that it kind of admits like the half-assedness of it. Like many explainers start when reporters themselves have questions about a topic in the news. So it's basically like they're doing notes for what could be a better article.
Right.
But instead of expanding on any of the curiosity, they just feed you the surface level research that they did.
Yeah, there's absolutely like a lack of curiosity. It's just pure categorization of information. Even lower down on this New York Times one, it says, "What is the value of explainers? The Q&A format is easily navigable and more digestible, especially on a phone screen." So that's just a great reason why this has happened to our world, is thanks to the explainer. Of course, we're going to watch one of their videos later, but the most infamous explainer of all is the Vox explainer. And to be honest with you, I follow a lot of the that's a crazy picture on here. There's a Starbucks cup wearing glasses and a cat. It's beautiful. I follow a lot of the kind of political commentators of our ilk because I find them so interesting and funny, but often they're making fun of people that I know very little about. So I don't really know much about Matt Iglesias, the founder of Vox. I know that he's kind of a bit of a bad boy or an annoying man, at least. But I don't know too much about him, but I know that I think he founded this magazine Vox. Couldn't tell you the first thing about it, but they kind of popularize the explainer, and even on their landing page for explainers, it says, "We live in a world of too much information and too little context, too much noise and too little insight." That's where Vox's explainers come in. Now, I would argue that explainers are actually removing more context, aren't they? They're not really cutting through the lack. They're not adding context. They're extracting information from context. But
yeah, and they also seem to be adding to the noise more than clarifying.
Because I think the explainer itself is also a sort of a representation of the millennial, because we all read explainers because we want to become the explainer. Everyone's competing to be the one who explains, not the one, not the explainee. Similar to maybe we'll do another episode one day about recommendations, but I think people love to recommend things, but it's you're in a lower class if you're the recommendee, I think, and that's why I never take anyone's recommendations for media of any kind. But I don't know. Like, do you have any thoughts about Vox explainers? Maybe that's more of an unk thing to be concerned about.
Yeah, I don't have too many thoughts about it. I don't subscribe to this publication, and it does seem to be paywalled. I'm not really encountering them in the wild currently, but I have no doubt that I did in the past.
Right. Even I'm seeing another article. I forgot this phrase in my intro when I was working on it, but it's this other article I saved. It says "Explainer journalism in a nutshell," and I think that's another key thing. Is everyone just wants a nutshell, but they don't want the whole nut. And it drives me nuts. But the
nut's meaty and dense with omega-3s.
Exactly. So yeah, I figured we could kind of go through the history of the explainer. And take it on a little journey here. And to get started, one thing I didn't realize is that either in parallel or kind of because of, explainers also exist as a form of SEO grabbing for companies who are selling businesses. So it's like there's tons of explainers that are like your work, being like, why should I use AI in my daily email digest anyways, or whatever? Like, that's someone trying to sell you their AI thing. So it is. So let's talk about that first. The kind of corporate explainer.
Have become increasingly popular over the last decade for organizations in pretty much every sector. But what exactly?
One thing I can't tell is like, did AI robots learn how to do the millennial pause when they talk, or is this a guy on fire? It's hard to tell.
Increasingly popular over the last decade for organizations in pretty much every sector.
Pretty much
but what
every
exactly
sector.
Are they?
But
how do they work? An explainer video is a short animated video that explains a product or service in an easy format.
I think it's the colors.
Voiceover and animated
it's these all these little pop-ups on screen that compel people.
Yeah, there is definitely like an infographic element to it.
Alone and found it challenging to make yourself understood.
They're trying to put all these word puzzle pieces together.
Well, it's like there's like a Sesame Street element to it, where it's like.
Absolutely.
In the classroom to enable learning.
I mean, I remember like again, because I'm the unk of the pod. I remember when people were trashing what we now call millennials for being into like adult coloring books or like you know, and like that's just what all of culture is now. It's just an adult coloring book.
Yeah. The other, I guess, like, and you know, me being a little younger, I feel like an explainer would be like a YouTube video they show you in your college class, and you're like, I'm paying $10,000 a semester for this.
Right. Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's like, I was going to say it's almost like Wikipedia, but it's actually not, because Wikipedia is very long and in-depth and peer-reviewed. And this is just like some... basically, the interns have taken over everything, it feels like. But okay, so that was kind of an intro to the corporate ones. Here's how to make one.
We all know how wonderful it feels.
This guy kind of looks like you.
Something new.
Yeah, I see
someone
it.
explains something in a way that just...
I love
this guy's
when
accent.
Europeans... Yeah, I love when Europeans narrate YouTubes.
You can at least tell it's probably not
It
AI.
feels to learn something new. When someone explains something in a way that just clicks. As complexity increases, this skill of explaining simply only becomes more valuable. And with dropping attention spans, we don't just need simple. We
Whoa, that
also
turned
need
into a
short
hat.
and entertaining. Explaining is a skill.
We need
and
so he
anyone
just
can learn it.
just so everyone, in case you missed it, he said we don't just need information, we need it to be simple, short and entertaining for our attention
Explaining
spans.
is a skill, and anyone can learn it. Two components are fundamental for any digital explanation: the scripts and the visuals. The script is textual work where you decide what to say. When to say,
if you need scripts explained to you,
what to say
I think
empathy with your viewers.
you're beyond getting explained to.
And use that to design your answer. When to say things is about structuring your points in a logical order.
Actually, I don't know if I have it in here,
but how you say things
but
is about language. Simple sentences, active voice, and
it's
no
because it was a
jargon.
LinkedIn post. I didn't
Now
want
you have
to try to load LinkedIn on the
solid
pod.
foundation
Maybe that should be
to
like a
build the
bonus
visual side
episode.
on top of.
We could go on
You then
LinkedIn
turn
together.
the script into a voiceover, either by narrating it into
But there's
a
like
microphone,
early
getting someone
Google
else to do it.
When they announced new features, they would do explainer videos with like actual like hand paper animation that just sort of set the blueprint for this vector nightmare.
And that's charming. Hand paper.
Yeah, it's like
animation.
South Park. They probably animated it that week, you know, just like South Park. But yeah, so these are kind of like, I guess this is how to, but it's still in the realm of corporate. But I didn't even watch this yet. Let's check out a Vox explainer for the school to prison pipeline.
Okay,
Try to understand.
This sounds funny.
There's this phrase that you might hear in the news sometimes.
Okay, every time, like it's always the. Did you hear that the pause? Like maybe this episode's also about the millennial
There's
pause.
this phrase that you might hear in the news.
But
sometimes. The school.
I agree that should be known as the millennial pause. I thought when people referred to the millennial pause, it was like every time we took a front-facing video as millennials, we don't speak for a couple of seconds because we're trying to like.
Oh, is that what it is?
Because we're accustomed to needing the technology to catch up.
Okay, that's probably more accurate.
Yeah,
this is.
But
more
I know what you mean.
This is one
the ellipses, the spoken
exactly.
ellipses.
This is how again, you know, I'm really, because it's episode 4, I'm really getting a peek behind the curtains. But we've been talking about how we would handle an episode about millennial grammar, and I didn't believe that millennial grammar could be expressed orally, but it actually can be, because
there's this phrase that you might hear in the news.
What? Why is she saying there's this phrase that you might hear? Like, wouldn't she say there's this phrase? You know, like why pause before you might hear in the news? And why are you saying you might hear it? You do, like, you probably hear. What do you mean you might hear?
Because even though we just talked about how, like, these explainers, like, make it easy to become an authoritative subject matter expert, as a millennial, you're also, like, hedging.
Right, yeah, because you
everything you say, just in case
there's a sort of alt explainer that counteracts what you say.
Yeah,
because maybe you wouldn't hear that on the news, and then this lady will look dumb as shit.
Sometimes. I'm making an explainer about why it's problematic to insist
funneling students, especially black
that
students,
you
into
heard
the
something on the
criminal
news.
justice system. It started in the 90s when schools responded to fears
I actually
about crime
guarantee
with
I watched this in
policies,
college.
which mandated suspensions
Really?
and expulsions for certain violations. They
I
also
would put
cracked down
money
on
on
little
it.
things like talking back or uniform violations. The hope was that it would keep bigger problems from bubbling up. But as a result, out-of-school suspensions have doubled since the 1970s.
Also, I guess the other thing is, like, infographics don't speak to me. I don't care about them.
Dropping for years.
I actually don't know what
Around
speaks
the
to me,
same time,
but not.
the number of police officers stationed full-time inside schools has increased by a third.
I can rock with some well-organized visual information.
I feel like for me, it's like the school to prison pipeline. Already, you've got a vibey title for it. I get it. I already get what it is.
Yeah, it's a pipeline. Yeah,
it's like Mario.
They were there to prevent mass school shootings, like the one at Columbine.
Oh my God! She just dropped my This is the word of the week. Maybe we got to start having the word of the week. But she just said ostensibly, which is the ultimate smart millennial word that you got to drop.
I plead the fifth on the use of ostensibly.
I tried. I used to. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And when I used to read the AV Club because I'm a nerd who likes TV. I would notice it in every single review of anything that's ostensibly. But then when I was like a culture journalist for a long time, eventually you just got to start dropping the O word. You know,
basically outsource discipline to the police.
You got to feign that authority.
Schools with officers have 5 times as many arrests for disorderly conduct as schools without them.
I'm waiting for the next pause.
The results are shocking. But the less visible effect is that schools are feeding the racial disparities in the criminal justice system. Consider the fact that schools are more likely to have an officer on their campus
so they have stuff like that. They have ones about here's the other Vox explainer to sort of counter that one.
Everybody, major Game of Thrones spoilers here.
This is called
for the last 5 seasons
time
of Game
travel
of Thrones,
and
we've
Game of
understood
Thrones
the show
explained.
to be a linear storyline. One thing leads to another thing, to another thing. You get the idea. But in the past few episodes,
you get the idea.
So that's totally changed. In his training with the Three-Eyed Raven, Bran Stark has learned how to travel through time in dreamlike visions. And that makes Game of Thrones one of a
There's
whole
also something about it where it's like, considering that you're trying to do something that's so low effort, like an explainer, you've over-scripted it so much so that you're doing the millennial pause, my millennial pause, and you're trying to sound so casual, but you're like fitting in so much dialogue that you've written for yourself in this explainer.
Yeah. I love that you call it my millennial pause.
That's the name of my book. I just decided.
It's very
a lot of works of fiction that have experimented with time
heartwarming and
travel.
evocative.
Scientists have debunked the idea that we'd ever be able to travel into the past, but
Like also because
scientists have debunked the idea.
There's also a sing-songy nature to millennial speak, but like he put too many words into the lower register of the sing-song, so he's like,
it's one of a whole lot of
like,
works of fiction that have
scientists have
experimented with time travel.
debunked the
Scientists have debunked the idea that we'd ever be able to travel into the past, but
try
that
to
hasn't
fit
stopped
as many
physicists from
words as you
theorizing how
can
it would
before
work
another
logically.
inhale.
This is sort of the internet's go-to explainer on how time travel works in fiction.
My name is Harrison Densmore, and I'm a graphic designer and writer. I created this infographic about 7 years ago.
They're
You can
interviewing
generally
the guy
break
who
down time
made an
travel in movies into
infographic
one of
into the
three
know.
styles. There's the multiverse timeline, the dynamic timeline, and the fixed timeline.
Multiverses
In a
and all
multiverse
this shit,
timeline,
like,
there
shut
are
the
an
fuck
infinite
up,
number of parallel
everyone.
universes.
I know.
Any time travel immediately creates a new timeline, and the traveler
Just
can
like
do
let
just
something
about
weird
anything.
happen.
Only that timeline is affected. Kill your grandfather, and you'll have just created a new universe where you don't
Like,
exist.
who does this serve?
This is
Like
what you
this,
see with
who does
Terminator.
this serve?
It serves, but the thing is, it serves like most people. I think like most people share to this. I'm sure with their, I guess, not to say the C word, coworkers, but I picture a lot of people really fucking with this heavily.
Terminator 3, Rick and Morty, Doctor Who, and the 2009 Star Trek.
Doctor Who.
And then there's what he calls the dynamic timeline.
Like the other thing is, like, being this kind of guy was actually like
try to kill your grandfather
cooler than being a hipster.
Create a paradox, a logical contradiction.
This video has nearly 1 million views. It has 998,000 views.
In the future to travel back in time to kill
Is that not
grandfather.
kind of a flop compared to the other Vox explainers? Like when you pause, this one shows up that has 15 million. Rapping deconstructed.
I tried to stick with ones that actually had the word explained in the title just to create some boundaries for myself, but I've bent the rules a little bit. That's from only you and I to know. Well, let's see how much the school to prison pipeline, that has 1.2 million. So similar between I'm actually surprised because I wouldn't be surprised if well, maybe people feel guilty for watching time travel in Game of Thrones explained, so then they go watch the school to prison pipeline explained as a form of activism or something.
Are you meant to watch time travel in Game of Thrones explained, and then the next time you watch a science fiction movie with your male friend group, you stand up out of your couch and say, "Oh, it's a multiverse time travel timeline."
Pause it real quick. I want to explain this to you guys. It must be something like. Actually, I'm fucking with this one.
The idea of a dynamic timeline presented in Back to the Future.
It doesn't really make sense because the traveler is returning.
I think
to
it's maybe like because most people do need to pause and think while they're speaking, but millennials are like pretending to pause and think because they're not thinking.
Oh, that's why they're embedding the pause into the sentence.
Yeah, it's like because it's all been pre-written.
Then there's the fixed timeline.
Yeah.
In a fixed timeline, when a person travels back in time, they can't change the future that they just left. This is the version that you see in The Prisoner of Azkaban.
The person bad with that.
Or 12 Monkeys. Everything that they do just confirms the present that they left. Try to kill your grandfather here, and you'll inevitably fail. You can't
I've never
change
seen Game
the
of
past.
Thrones.
Me neither.
And it seems like this is how Game of Thrones interprets the idea.
Do you feel?
It all starts with this
do you
moment
want to
right
watch
here,
it eventually?
When Bran is watching a young
Definitely
version
not,
of his late
and this is
father.
making it even worse. Knowing that there's like some sort of
because Ned Stark
if you kill your own grandfather, it will cause the butterfly effect on your grandfather.
Like Bran might be able to change the past. So when the Raven says this,
the past is already written. The ink is dry.
It sounds like he's not telling.
It's also
the
like
truth.
there's a I don't know what they're talking about, but I also feel like there's kind of this enters the realm of like people sort of reverse engineering just kind of like a natural reaction. Like he's like, oh, when he said the past is already written, the ink is dry, he's really saying that the past cannot be changed. Or it's like, yeah, he just fucking literally said what you're describing. This kind of reverse engineering, some insight or foresight is I think some people just have explainer brain, maybe.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. But is it natural, or were they explained into having explainer brain? Let's discover. Let's discover that.
Let's discover. Well, this one does not have explainer in the title, but I did learn that this is another major explainer site. This is they do cartoons, and this one's called "Why Does Fentanyl Feel So Good?"
Give up on everything that makes life
is that what it feels good?
Loved ones, any other
I guess
or
probably.
I get
homes,
this is so like deeply offensive. Like I actually scrolled through the channel to see if this was
heroin. Every single way.
I scrolled through the channel. So this is called Kurzgesagt in a nutshell. This has 7.3 million views in 3 months. And I actually thought this might be a joke, but I don't think it is. But it's like, I don't want to call everything corporate Memphis, but this is close. I think
it's it's an evolution of corporate Memphis. And this also feels like a video that like if you gave a 3-year-old an iPad, they would be watching this in 15 minutes.
It's true. But then
it's the perfect drug for dealers.
The like child story, the bedtime story.
Deadly fentanyl is. Many people it kills.
It's like
addicts.
It feels like a campfire ghost story.
What fentanyl does to you, what it feels like, and why it's so much lamer.
This feels like a parallel to
pain
like
and pleasure.
True crime.
The most important forces that guide
the sort of like
survival are pain
the
and
calloused inhumane sort of cruelty that people just revel in, but it's dressed up so adorably that they don't even notice how inhuman they've become. Yeah, it was just like a junkie like scratching his wound in this like cartoon style.
The framing of how like fentanyl might seem awesome, but really it's just crummy heroin. like what is that framing?
It's so crazy. One of these I'm sorry, we can call for an edit if this is too upsetting, but someone literally sincerely said my uncle got off fent about 5 times. The 6th time he tried to stop and relapse, he ended his journey behind a Walmart dumpster. He was an incredibly smart person. You're commenting this on a cartoon. This is a cartoon. Like this this looks like a Pixar short, kind of.
Yeah.
Because also I think what's bothering me even more, ironically, is that it's so well done. Like the animation, there's a lot of care that went into this fentanyl cartoon.
Yeah.
What is this?
From wounds or aching joints or menstrual cramps or loneliness or
Who needs to even know all of this? Why do you need to learn from a cartoon? I just like...
Yeah. I mean, are these videos like engagement bait or something? Like, I don't understand the impulse that YouTube commenters have to like share little like really actually deeply personal anecdotes.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it's on a song, which I still feel uncomfortable, and I'm also secretly laughing a little bit, but it's like I can at least understand how a song there's such an emotional tie to music, so that makes more sense to me. But I'm just looking at some of the other videos. There's like, do you have free will? They're making a video game, these people. There's one on alcohol, amphetamines, the world being at war. Is the world getting more violent? I don't understand, but it must be. Yeah, I mean, there must be ads on here. They describe their channel as animation videos explaining things with optimistic nihilism since 12013. What? We're a team of illustrators, animators, number crunchers, and one dog who aim to spark curiosity about science and the world we live in. Dude, I fucking hate these people.
Yeah, I think listing a dog as a team member is the most
especially
heinous.
You don't have to put your horrible job listing copy in your YouTube bio. Keep that at least on the LI.
For show. Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask, do you ever feel compelled to leave comments on anonymous forums like YouTube videos or Reddit threads?
That's a good question, and I think that I just had a sobering realization that every comment I leave on the internet, no matter how inflammatory, for some reason I want to have my full first and last name. And I don't know why. I don't know why that is. What about you, though? I think you must have some other accounts rolling around.
Yeah, I do.
I really should have planned my life out better with that.
I started some, there's like in 2020 and before, I was really bored and I became obsessed with my local subreddit. And I made fake accounts based on characters or human beings in my community whose posting style annoyed me.
Oh, wow.
And so I would post troll Reddit threads in the voice of this particular Reddit user in my town.
Just like, did you I guess it's like, I don't know what's better, because for me I would do that and then I would like collect it all and share it as some kind of performance, like when I had the liberal jelly roll blue sky. But did you share it, or was it just for your own enjoyment?
It was for my own enjoyment, but the problem was I began to communicate. First, I began to communicate my sincere thoughts in character, right. And then I just started recommending people restaurants I liked.
That's so good.
So it's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. You become. I mean, that's true. You become your persona, and I think I'm living with the consequences of that every day of my life. Speaking of, here's a real quick explainer. This is called "What is Doxing?" And it's just a little kid explaining it.
Wait, dude.
Doxing is...
I'm getting something that says the selected content cannot be played directly on Watch Together because the video is age restricted.
Oh, weird. It plays for me. Well,
I'll listen. I can listen to it.
Can you? Oh, you can hear it. Okay, yeah. It's just a kid in a gamer chair, and it says, "What is doxing?"
Doxing is essentially when you threaten someone's real life. You threaten their real info. You put it out there.
Oh, not the traumatic, scary music.
You threaten their info.
Your house.
Don't threaten my info.
People can find your address and stalk you. It's very dangerous, and it's in fact illegal.
There actually could be a wide array of things that can happen. It can lead to swatting, which is
don't introduce a new concept that you have to explain.
Saying that they're doing a lot of harmful things.
Don't
they're putting in swatting into the doxing,
or having local police come into the home because they think that something scary is going on inside of the home.
See, I think I really do. Oh, this is from the documentary Roblox and the Metaverse Exposed. So they're using, I guess, or Dangerous Games, Roblox, and the Metaverse Exposed. So they're using Explainer again as a marketing. I think
yes.
Perhaps the prevalence of the Explainer is just part and parcel of the fact that all of life is some form of marketing, and there's no escape from it.
Do you think this is meant for parents whose children are playing Roblox? Is it fear-mongering?
Well, I was going to say, don't let children do the Explainer because they're just simply too stupid to do it. They haven't lived long enough to explain properly. You need someone from the police or something. I don't know, not to be pro-police, but I don't know who else it would be.
Yeah, who's on your local anti-doxing unit?
Yeah, exactly. So here's just kind of a fun word, haboobs, from the news.
Let out haboobs. Not talking about anything that unusual in this part of the country. Check it out. We're talking about Arizona, where they recently experienced a large dust storm that is known as a haboob. Now, it moved across the city and, in fact, enveloped
being a TV weatherman would be the tightest job ever.
You probably saw that video if you were watching us earlier on.
I really relate to this guy for some reason.
It's an intense dust storm carried by strong winds that come out of usually the downdraft of a thunderstorm.
And see, when a weatherman is explaining a weather thing with a funny name,
I know it's a funny sounding name, but
that's the kind of explainer that I believe in.
Which means to blow, like a gusty, strong wind. And it was used originally to describe
this format for sure. It's not insulting my intelligence. There aren't little cartoon characters. There aren't breasty cartoon characters getting sucked up in a Twister.
What is the difference? Where do they come from?
Look, see, what is the difference?
Where do they occur in the world?
So he's not
arid and semi.
I think I'm genuinely just realizing something. Mm-hmm. He's stumbling over his words in a way that tells me the information's in his brain and he's categorizing it as he speaks. Whereas the false millennial stumble or pause is telling me they want me to think that it's in their brain, but they're reading it for the first time right now.
Yeah.
Along with me. So I think that's why I trust this guy.
Known as deserts worldwide.
Well, I mean, I think he's reading from a teleprompter, but he's also not trying to he's not trying to seem like he isn't. And I think that speaks to your point where it's like there's no pretense. I can't believe I'm saying a weather report is unpretentious.
Also the Arabian Peninsula, which is
in the context of what we're looking at, it's a breath of fresh air.
No, you can tell it's or like even a haboob of fresh air, really.
Yes,
but you can tell what I think it is. Like, of course he's reading from a teleprompter, but he doesn't need it. It's like that's just a fail safe for him.
Yeah.
But if I may, I thought it might be fun to go from haboob to
what the is a labubu?
Someone said on that video that is what a French person calls an
great genius sig.
What is a labubu? I mean, have you guys also started seeing these freaky gremlin dolls everywhere?
I haven't seen them.
One could argue that labubus are Gen Z. I'm not sure. I think they still are gunning for that millennial credit card for sure. I think they're one of those. Yeah. They're a Gen Z false flag that every Gen Z is into this, and then the millennials go on a spree. But regardless, explaining the latest trend so that you understand is pure a millennial hook, line, and sinker trap, in my opinion.
Yeah. Have you seen a Labubu in real life?
I have. Yeah, they're everywhere. In fact, even when I was just in Maine, it's like at the beach, the local shop had like Labubus in it. So it's because they had this false scarcity at the start.
Yeah.
So it freaked everyone out. But I don't know. I would assume that you're living too sort of hip of a life to be faced with Labubus on the daily.
Yeah, I just remembered I did see them recently. Like I saw some knockoffs in like a vending machine in Latin America.
Oh,
but I
wow.
haven't seen like a hype beast with a Labubu clipped to the belt loop.
I think like Labubu is kind of like a normie Monchichi or something.
Yeah.
Like because when you see like the hype beasts, they definitely have Monchichis or Sunny Angels or something, but Labubu is kind of more Kardashian coded or something.
Mm-hmm.
But here I am explaining Labubus.
These plush toy monsters that are popping up everywhere are called Labubus, and I had no clue what they were until you guys.
And I guess like people who know me know that of course I've done things that resemble explainers in my life, having hosted a Blink-182 podcast. But the difference is that like I don't remember anything or know what I'm talking about ever, and I'm just kind of babbling based on vibes. And I think that's different, isn't it?
It is different. I think, maybe why you hate these so much is there is an air of familiarity.
Right, it's true.
I started commenting about them in my recent video on the downfall.
This is
of
13
Stanley
minutes
Cups.
long.
For some reason, I had read the word Labubu in comment
Cups.
sections before, but I thought it was a type of dress that was sold at Lululemon. It wasn't until you guys started telling me to make a video about the rise of Labubus that I finally Googled them. And I saw
it's so interesting to
Since
demand
then,
someone to make a
so
video
many
about the rise of Labubus.
I think that's the most classic YouTuber lie. Is everyone was requesting this video because I used to be addicted to watching like low view count room tours and shopping halls, like a Claire's shopping haul. I would just spend much of my 30s really watching these videos alone on a Friday. But some of these people would have like 100 views. Or 10 subscribers.
Yeah.
Be like, this is my most requested video. Like, from who, bitch? Just kidding. But let's move past consumption into the world of art, because this is from the Art Institute of Chicago, and they're explaining how to look at art. Which I think this is where I start to understand it a little bit, because going to the art gallery is a little bit intimidating. Maybe.
Yeah, this is something that people have an insecurity about.
I actually went and saw this. What's this painting called? American Gothic? Is that
yes.
right? I went and saw this at the Art Institute of Chicago earlier this year, and I took I got my wife to take a photo of me holding up the Pauly Shore son-in-law poster in front of it. And I loved taking the photo, and I bonded with some fellow Pauly Shore fans over it, and I got some really dirty looks in the museum.
How does what you see in an artwork tell you how to look?
Were the other Pauly Shore fans there for the same reason?
No, I don't think there was any Pauly Shore fans there, because everyone there was super rude to me about it.
Wait, I might need to. I'm still watching the Labubu video on Clean Feed.
Oh, word.
I'm just gonna
Caleb.
log back in.
Caleb.
I'm gonna log back in.
Okay,
I'm back, and I
Did you see
the
it?
art explainer. Yeah,
artwork.
Caleb, we're back.
Caleb. I mean, yeah, I don't even know what's in this video, but it's the Art Explainer is the name of the. But then again, like I don't know. Do you think that, despite this insecurity existing, do you think that art needs to be explained like this? This is kind of like, maybe when he's making his edits, Caleb's gonna want to interject, but you're not allowed, Caleb. No, no overdubs. But I don't know. There's the discomfort of not knowing something can actually like propel you forward in life to do interesting things. No?
Yeah, I think I don't know if that holds true for everybody. But I do think like art is something that people aren't confronted with in their daily life, unlike Labubus or
right
fentanyl, I guess. So there's value, but let's see how the AIC pulled it off.
I guess it's like if you want to look at art, just look at art, and if you want to learn more about it, then just read about it after.
The visual qualities of an artwork shape the way we look at it, and the
zooming
meaning
into
we
Pauly
take
Shore's
away.
eyes. Well, whoever the original
might
Pauly
use
Shore
a point of
was.
view that confronts us with a stern gaze, or sightlines to hint at something we don't see. These strategies set up a dynamic relationship between artist, artwork, and viewer.
Yeah, this is actually a good
Considering
video,
what
I think.
is and is not visible in an artwork, or how the artist positions us in relation to the subject, can help us think more deeply about social position, setting, and gender. Let's look at a few examples.
But I don't know. I mean, I think it is true that
was
like
made by one of Africa's largest ethnic groups.
it's a little much for a lot of people to be like, I'm supposed to look at this painting, American Gothic, which I've seen replicated across culture, like, and memed on. Like I it's something you see on like Animaniacs or something.
Yeah.
And you're like supposed to know what it means.
Right. And also
and then,
like looking at where the eyes are is not going to tell you what it means. But then
Yeah,
also
or
like
it's-
learning like what the history of the painting is or what it's about is also not going to help it mean something to you. Maybe it just does mean Animaniacs to you, and that's actually kind of sick. I don't know. I didn't mean to shut you down, but I think
No, I mean it's just well, and I mean that's what I was getting at, where it's like the idea behind appreciating art is like inventing a narrative from a painting you look at.
Right. Yeah. Or it also could just be like admiring the technical prowess on display. Or it could be maybe you do learn something about the history of the piece and where it was, or like the painting was stolen, or it was painted with a different format. There's the thing is there's unlimited ways, and I think immediately as soon as you make an explainer, you're limiting it a little bit.
The crown's form and patterns were intended to communicate the king's royal power and his ancestral connections to his subjects. A key
I mean,
part
I
of the
definitely do
conical
struggle
crown
with
is its
like
beaded
areas of
veil,
museums where it's
which
just like
protects
cool
the
hats
king's
from
subjects
history
from
and
the
stuff.
potentially dangerous
Yeah.
power of his
I don't really know
Yeah,
how to
it-
not think that
The
it just looks
veil
like
is
some
also
cool
meant to
essence
hide
shit.
the king's individuality, activating the abstracted faces adorning
That
both
would
the front and
that
back of
would
the crown.
rock with some
These represent the king's ancestors.
Some
whose
trees
powers
been
see in both
pants.
this world
Yeah.
and the supernatural one are symbolized
Some opium.
by the faces' protruding eyes. The birds represent the essential support
what
of
else-
women
what else does
in
she talk
myths
about
like
how to
the
look
Camera
at?
Lucida, enabling him to picture the changing world in a new way. Kayabot created this life-size street scene soon after the city underwent a
They got
massive
some like explosions in the
modernization
sky in the
project,
background of this.
organized around key buildings.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually fuck with this explainer video at all. It almost got me, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's a video you watch in art history class, and you kind of nod off at minute 2. You're too tired from swim practice, and you can't focus.
That universal experience. Well, let's see. While we're on the hyper, oh my god! Actually, I'm not going to do this one yet. I'm going to do this one that we can just look at quickly. I think this one might be too insider for me, but it's
by Twitch Prime
casually explained, casual explainer, but serious gamer.
So for this video, I want to expand upon a story
Doing
from
the
my
little,
youth,
like,
before I was a casual
MS
explainer,
Paint
but in fact,
cartoon
a
character.
strategy gamer. And what I experienced.
So this is
in
about
going
the
from
difference between casual
custom games
gamers
to
and
grinding the
hardcore
ladder 6
gamers.
hours a day in pursuit of being
When I was
number
skipping
one
around earlier,
and
I
achieving
think
my
he
lifetime
took a
goal of
break
becoming
from
Korean.
becoming
To give some context
great
for the
at
story,
a
when I was
game,
really young, I used
and then
to really
he
like strategy
yeah, here we
games
go.
like Age of
He was
Empires
really
and
into
Command
strategy
Conquer,
games, and he was
but
so
the
good
part
at it.
that
But then
I
he took a
liked wasn't the
break, so he
commanding
thought he
or
could
the
come back
conquering.
and
it was just making a
be
bunch
good,
of workers
but-
and collecting all the resources. On
I
the
kind
map
of
as
like
I
this
looked at
because
the
it's just like a
strategy
really
guide. So
boring
naturally,
blog.
around 2009,
Exactly.
when I was
It's also
13,
like
I
such
got
a
very
foreign,
excited when they announced the latest
impossible
and
to
greatest strategy
parse
game that was
world
about to come out,
that it just becomes like
StarCraft 2.
fascinating.
And the reason there was so much hype was because StarCraft 1 was considered the largest
Unless
and
you-
most
do you play
competitive
strategy
game
games?
in existence.
I don't know
besides
anything about
Warcraft 3,
StarCraft.
and this would be its
Me
grand
neither.
I don't
successor
play.
at
I'm not.
as well.
Yeah, I'm not
Fairly
this kind of
quickly,
gamer.
Then Huck himself. We played.
No, that's something we haven't common.
Mario.
We're both
matchups at the time.
We're both soy facing.
He goes for an all-in attack.
Yeah, we play baby
Switch
games.
to
Serious. My way of
gamers.
defending it was to just completely wall off.
Sometimes
the
I'll play
essence
like
of my
Call of
base.
Duty as well.
And
I'm like a
believe it or
jock.
not,
I'm a jock
I take
baby
the big
gamer
dub
only.
Yeah.
and win a
Yeah, I don't know. I mean that one was cool.
That guy has a bunch of videos.
He's also not like, I think what I like about this one is he's not explaining anything. It's entirely pure insider, and that's something I forgot to say off the top, but I'm glad I didn't because I said so much, and I can say it now. But I think the explainer is, or maybe I did say this already, but I think it's sort of a mirror image of gatekeeping. Is like, instead of gatekeeping, we're gonna feed you your pablum so that you babies can come in and learn about this. But this serious casual gamer video feels just inherently gatekeeping because I have no clue what's going on. Why is there like a little drawing saying "Give me your ladder points" to like Diamond Man or something? Like, what even is this? What does this mean?
Are these videos popular? This little boring monotone stick figure man.
I didn't even check. Yeah, let's take a look here. It definitely had a lot of comments. Oh yeah, this has 4.5 million views. And it's literally sponsored by Twitch and Blizzard Entertainment. So yeah, this is like extremely popular.
So interesting that there's this whole world.
There's a whole world
that'll never encounter,
that we know nothing about. Well, let's get into okay, really quick while we're on the highbrow tip. This one I think was really cute, and I don't want to just hate. This is art house cinema explained by something untitled, but these kids.
This sounds like something you would hate.
These kids. I know.
Out of context.
But these kids decided to explain art house cinema by doing it themselves, which is really cute.
Life.
This is good. This is really good.
Sorrow.
It's a kid with braces.
Deceit.
This is so good.
So good.
Fear. Birdman.
The music.
Birdman. Birdman.
Lost.
Like what art house movies have these 16-year-olds even seen?
I know.
This is like if you learned about Bergman from like a Family Guy cutaway joke or something.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's exactly where they learned it.
Throwing ham on his chest. This is so good. He said Finn. Incredible. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a great pull.
That's like
this is a dumb guy thought, but I'm gonna say it. Do you feel like less teenagers have braces than they used to?
That's a really good question. I guess. I'm actually like, now that the timeline of the show is a little weird. This is my first episode as a 40-year-old, so that's probably why the vibes are off. But I do feel like everyone to me looks like a teenager now when I go outside. Every single human being essentially looks like a teenager or a decrepit old person, other than me, who looks normal. Yeah,
I was going to say,
I look normal.
When you see your reflection in the shop window as you're walking down the street.
I'm like, oh, finally a normal one. But no, that's a really interesting observation. I mean, do you think that's because Invisalign, or do people just give up? Like, I actually wore a retainer for many years and it didn't work, so I just gave up and my teeth are kind of janky. But I don't know. What do you think is the deal?
I don't know. I think I guess like invisible braces, or I'm just not observing the mouths of teenagers as much as I used to when I had braces myself. But just like, there's something about the braces this chubby mop-headed boy had that made me feel really at home.
So good. Yeah, like the fact that he's also just always shirtless throughout this whole thing, and there's just so many video games on the wall. I guess the one like maybe opposite of dumb guy thought, like annoying buzzkill thought, because I love a dumb guy thought. But I was thinking the fact that they could do this so creatively and sort of tap into this, like the essence of art house cinema, or at least some sort of parody of it, is like, what would it be like if they made one that wasn't a joke? Because I feel like they're almost onto something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
I mean, there's something about the like decrepit. I don't know if it's not decrepit, but the way the rooms laid out. There's some that they accidentally made art house cinema.
There is a darkness
by being
to it.
these weird teenage. There is like a sexual tension with the meat and the shirtlessness.
Yeah,
like there is a lot going on, and I don't think they realize that.
It's so true. Oh, their Twitters are on here and everything. Let's see. I feel like this is really old video, 17 years old. But no, these kids are long gone from the internet. They probably work normal. They probably just have normal lives now. They decided.
Oh no, they have a podcast as recently as 4 years ago.
Oh, you're right. Online dating, gentrification, and trolls. Perfect. Perfect topic. I love that they didn't upload for like 15 years and then came back with a pod, dropped 3 episodes, and then dipped.
Oh, and it's so interesting. They, I think they went through and like rebranded their old YouTube thumbnails.
Yes, something Untitled Productions. Damn, we need you guys to come back. Make your. Let's start a GoFundMe to make the full art house film, because you guys are onto something. All right, well, real quick, I don't think we should watch this whole thing, but this is called Too Cool for You, and it's the hipster trope explained. It's 19 minutes long,
and it starts with Community. Perfect.
How do you think, like, is the concept of a hipster just kind of like the unspoken third mic of the show? Are we going to do an episode of hipster? I think at the time it didn't feel like it, but the concept of a hipster is just millennial culture, right? They just kind of merged.
I think that is true. Yeah, and I think like the concept of the hipster is weighing heavily on both of us.
Yeah.
And there's nothing we can do to avoid it.
So escape. Yeah, we just can't possibly contain it to one episode.
I'm wearing $300 jeans from Italy.
There was no more hated figure of the post-millennium era than...
The other thing about it, if you're not doing the millennial pause, is like you are just reading the news, but on your podcast. You know what I mean? Like the way that this lady just came in was like, she's broadcasting from the local cat show or something. Like,
there was no more
a cat
hated
fashion
figure
show
of the post-millennium era than the hipster.
Oh, hipsters.
And the hipster.
Aren't you getting a little tired of
How are they allowed to use clips from everything?
The clothes, the antique yo-yos.
Here's how you spot a hipster.
Fair use, I guess. I mean, but how do you get
First
these?
First off, they'll never call themselves
clips?
that.
Yeah.
And
How do you
vigorously
source these? It would take
all
day.
I guess.
No, I'm not a hipster at all. Yeah, you do seem to hate a lot of things, and the bottom of your pants are awful tight.
The
maybe we
hipster
could get
is
Jay
defined by
Baruchel
what
on
they
here.
don't like, rather
Yeah,
than
I was
what
just
they
thinking
do.
that.
But you
Actually,
hate movies that are universally loved. I don't
He's
even
washing
like
up.
them.
I know. I was going to say. I'm sure his schedule's open.
They have a superiority complex based on disdaining anything mainstream and preferring
They are
obscure
crediting
treasures
the
no one else has
production
heard of.
company.
I really only
for
listen to
each of
like
these.
German death reggae and Halloween sound effects records from the 1950s.
Ultimately, the hipster is defined less by an
The way that they would
ideology
always
than by
like
an
show what
aesthetic.
hipsters are
What
into, the
huffpost's Julia
obscurity
Plevin terms, the
in media
carefully
was so
created,
annoying
sloppy
to me.
vintage look.
Yeah, I always thought that was
Homeless. Pop quiz, ready?
The hipster
bad and
believes
boring.
their superpower is their ultra discerning.
It's funny
highly
if they
specific
actually would learn
taste.
like specific
Pains
things.
me. We live in a world where nobody's heard of spearmint.
But they have to keep chasing new discoveries and discarding old
Anyways,
favorites.
I think this might actually
Yeah.
be like a real.
After you watch this video,
These two
please
ladies
click
are,
on the link in the
they want
description.
you to subscribe.
I like that hanging out here.
It's real
Are these videos just like you're supposed to just put them on in the background while you do the dishes?
It kind of feels like content that you would see at the dentist or something.
Yeah.
But like, I guess not at the dentist. Certainly not at the orthodontist. If you're younger.
Not these days. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just such a bummer, and they're not even really explaining it. They're just kind of summarizing it. I think actually those like VH1 clip shows or whatever was a big influence on certain millennials. They're like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I wish I could be beside Michael Ian Black in a cutaway.
That's
about how
literally
weird George
me.
Michael is.
I was a little boy who thought, hey, I could do that.
That's true.
I watch a lot of TV.
TV, like that. I mean, we're gonna have to talk about it more, but TV is kind of like the defining. Like, I think I've seen. Oh, what's that guy's name? There's a guy that I really don't like. That's really annoying. Named Luke something. He's like a journalist. I shouldn't be saying this on here.
Yeah,
well,
I think I know who you're talking about.
It's time to start some beefs on this show.
Yeah.
I think episode 4. No, he's like just kind of like one of those guys who always has a cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah.
In his picture. But he did do a post that I saw on Blue Sky because he blocked me on Twitter, so I didn't see it on there. But he did do a post that was really smart that was like, when I was younger, I thought, like, why did we all know so much about showrunners and think that we were going to work in TV? It's like a great point. Yeah. Kudos to Luke. I can't remember your last name. Whatever. I'm making this.
It's
much
O'Neill,
worse.
no?
Yeah, Luke O'Neill. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're giving him a shout out.
That's good. I got to give him a shout out where it's due because that's an excellent point. That's so true because like, what even is a showrunner? Like, who cares? But for some reason, we were all they were shoving it down our throats.
Yeah, because there was shows about being a showrunner.
Yeah, exactly. And the beauty of that is the new AI app where you can remix TV shows to make your own is called Showrunner AI.
I would have fun with that for a day.
You think? What would you remix?
Well,
I would probably remove the time travel from Game of Thrones.
That's exactly what I was going to say too.
Well, let's move on. It's almost too much to get into music explainers, but I did want to just share this. This guy is a guy who's like, I think trying to be the needle drop, maybe. There's a whole bunch of like post Fantano types out there, but I thought this one was just really interesting because it just seems like this is a recent video and just so obvious to do a video about harsh noise in like whatever.
Oh Lord!
3 months ago he did this. What even is that? But I do recall when this one came out, like the anti-music genre. It says
harsh noise. One of the
you recall when this came out?
Music genre.
Yeah, I saw it because I was sending it to
a genre that could do that thing. In
Caleb and Ned, our producers, because just to upset them.
And look, before I get into the video,
because I think the thing about music explainers is that it's like it's an all-consuming beast that just needs to be fed all the time, and eventually it gets into more niche genres that if you're kind of a nose-piercing guy with a dad hat that says cowboy hat on it, you think that it's like random as fuck because your friends just like Tame Impala, but you accidentally enter a realm where there are lifers who defend and love this vehemently and care about it so much. So you make a 12-minute video being like, this is random as fuck. And then you're like accidentally shitting on something. And I think I don't know what I think about it. I think it's something to do with gatekeeping versus explaining that is beautiful. But maybe it's because things like harsh noise, or it's even happened to me in my life as a music journalist trying to write about a hardcore scene and everyone's mad at me after. It's because some things can't be explained. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true in this instance. It actually needs so much context and understanding.
And it needs like a respect.
That it doesn't make sense to put it in a capsule.
Right. Exactly.
I want to state very clearly that I am by no means trying to make fun of or belittle anyone that's into this stuff.
At least he says that.
I genuinely find it extremely fascinating.
But then to say that it's fascinating is kind of like
to extreme
that's
noises,
condescending.
Like nails on a chalkboard and stuff like that. It can be genuinely hellish to listen to, but it still holds this weirdly special place in my heart because
I also find it charming.
My career today's genre is.
You find this charming?
A little bit.
Oh yeah. God. For context, I started doing this series a couple of years ago where I would listen to a random
What do you think
music
about these
channel,
jump cuts where it's like dun 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 dun?
I had done a couple episodes that literally nobody watched, and I thought maybe I'd do like 3 or 4.
He
and
definitely
then I did
has
one
his
on
own
harsh noise,
timbre.
and it completely blew up.
But this is how Fantano speaks too.
Right.
Service, it would have like 200,000 more views.
I don't know. I mean, I hate all this shit. This is definitely where, if I'm to let my steely exterior down, this is where I feel a little bit too much of myself on screen for the ways that I've bullshitted in my life. But I learned the lesson the hard way. You know, my first writing job was for electronic magazine called Accelerator. When I was like 19, I somehow bullshitted my way in there, and I didn't know the difference between house and techno. And secretly, I still don't really. But I faked it, and I had some very awkward edits and some very awkward feedback on my articles, and I might have learned something from it, or at least I took my lumps, you know. But I think there's no one giving lumps anymore is probably the issue, maybe.
And a lump is like a verbal bruising?
I think so. Okay. I've heard the expression from a Gen X person, and I thought I would just breeze through it, but it didn't work. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like,
to say,
I also guess I just don't know who is this
harsh noise.
other than making noise fans angry.
Really is. First, you've got to understand what noise music.
I guess that's the other thing that I haven't really talked about is what I don't understand. And you asked this earlier, but in this context, especially, who is the audience for this? Is someone wanting to learn what harsh noise is and they're going to watch Cowboy Hat?
No, I think it's like, I'm getting the sense that there's like this pyramid scheme where it's like Fantano did his thing, and then there's these Fantano copycats who are making videos for other Fantano copycats to
I think
right? Like
the pyramid scheme goes beyond music explainers, that all explainers are in effect a pyramid scheme. I think you're absolutely right. Is like, we're all the millennials are a generation of explainers, but who we're explaining to is completely unheard of, because certainly Gen Z doesn't want to hear what we have to say. So who are we explaining to?
We're explaining to other explainers for sure. or people, or wannabe explainers at least.
Yeah, it's really upsetting to think about, because I know I've been like this before, and still but then like, not when you stop explaining and just kind of like talk some shit and goof around, it's like that's a breath of fresh air, you know? Just like be stupid, I think is my answer.
Yeah, the audience for Cowboy Hat nose ring is there's a million other Cowboy Hat nose rings,
and that's
in this
scary
world.
if you don't know if you'll really like it or if it'll work for you. That's where Scentbird comes in.
Okay, he's talking about his fragrance subscription. Oh my god, he's still going with that.
This stuff is kind of punk in its own way. It's so against the norms of what is enjoyable.
How is he saying it's against the norms of and like punk 7 minutes into the video? He still hasn't even explained it yet.
From the words of Garo Garagagaga themselves, keep in mind they're Japanese, so their English is a little off. Personally, I think that noise is also music. I have made music by thinking so far that there are no genres, no distinctions, and that noise...
I think I like it because it's like, he's dressed like some form of barista, but it does feel like a jock just discovered like art for the first time. Like it's like a dumb guy discovering feelings or something. So I do like it in that sense. But I don't know, man. This next one is just for you. This is great. Umami and the 5 basic tastes.
You couldn't put salt in your cooking. Or maybe you couldn't put anything sweet in any of the recipes you're making. How would that affect you as a chef? Well, I'm sure you're kind of going, wait a minute, my food wouldn't taste that great. Exactly. Because we all grew up.
I like this. I think this is for other chefs, right? Yeah. Like this is more of a professional development.
Sweet, sour, salty,
this one feels like it's pre-millennial.
And we believed that for a long time.
Yeah, but there's also a reason I'm sharing it, which is because we're entering the era now where
umami.
And what we discovered is that umami is indeed the fifth taste, which means...
So the umami's the fifth taste. You know, we've got this like Ricky Gervais-ass guy talking about it on, you know, this does look like a TV special, but umami being the fifth taste was what led me into realizing that basically all of the explainer videos that have been created thus far have just, like everything else, informed the now endless wave of bullshit AI videos. And so here's umami, the fifth taste explained.
Have you ever wondered what umami tastes like? This question has puzzled many a food enthusiast for years. It's often referred to as the elusive fifth taste, a flavor that's often misunderstood and underappreciated. But what exactly is umami? And how does it differ from the other four basic tastes?
Because it's not like a weird animation. It's like
bitter.
Stock
umami
footage.
is a Japanese word that translates to pleasant, savory taste.
I know, it's interesting though, because it seems like outdated stock footage. Like this looks like an Olive Garden commercial from when I was a kid.
Instead, umami is a rich,
but
deep
this
flavor
AI
that's often
read
associated with foods
feels
like mushrooms,
very
tomatoes,
modern.
and meats. It's a taste that's
There's
robust
this,
and
like,
fulfilling.
scary
A
ambient
taste that
music
lingers
in the
on your
background.
tongue and leaves a lasting impression.
Yeah, I was wondering where that was coming from.
Stand out among
Yeah,
the
there's
other
something
four
really
basic
nightmarish about this.
That's where the
and this is from the
mystery
channel
begins.
Interesting and
Unlike
Random,
sweet, sour,
which only has
salty, and
385
bitter,
subscribers. This
umami
has
cannot be
67
easily
views in
defined
1
or
year, so it's not
categorized.
working.
It's
for
a
them.
taste that's more of a sensation, a feeling.
But they have
It's a
similar to
taste
Vox.
that's
They
complex
6
and
hours ago they
intriguing.
uploaded how
A
movies
taste
are
that's been
shaping
fascinating
tomorrow's spy
scientists and
disguises.
chefs alike for years. In fact,
All of
the
Earth's
concept
data
of
could
umami
fit
is
in one
so
coffee
elusive
mug.
That it
So
wasn't
they
officially
have
recognized as a basic
nailed the
taste
sort
until
of-
the late 20th century. Before then,
how does this even
it
go
was
on
just
for
a
15
culinary
minutes?
secret. A
I
hidden
know,
flavor
I have
that
no
was
idea.
often
I
overlooked
feel,
and
I also
underrated.
feel like we're
But since its
we've got to
discovery,
be
umami has been
about
making waves in the food
on
industry,
the precipice of an age
revolutionizing
where
the
we
way
don't
perceive
need
taste and
to
flavor.
explain
So what's
umami,
the secret
right?
behind umami?
Like, why is
What
umami
makes this
something that
fifth
you have
taste
to
so
learn about
unique
as an
and
adult?
Well, I mean, to be not only the fact that everyone who wants to know knows, but like also it's fine to just not know. Like you could just say that food is yummy or not yummy or is yucky. You know, yummy or yucky. That's it. That's all you need.
And their dance with your taste
The
receptors.
two tastes.
Umami, therefore, is not just a flavor, but a complex
I love
sensory
this sort of like
So,
quiet,
where can we
ominous
find
music.
this elusive umami
I know that.
flavor?
Did you see that cut with the
that was
hands and the
fucking
two?
crazy.
Yeah.
It's of umami.
But
When-
just what's happening at the end of this
It has
video?
become a buzzword for high-end restaurant manufacturers
I
alike.
wonder if it's multiple articles
The
were fed
popularity of
in.
umami-rich foods like
Mhm.
truffles, caviar, and aged cheeses has skyrocketed. Chefs have started experimenting
Truffles and caviar.
So
the prices have skyrocketed recently, of course.
So then this led me down as I was searching for other music and film ones. Like there's a channel called The Music Explainer. This is every
Tom
song
McDonald,
that destroyed woke culture.
When Tom
in
McDonald
20
dropped
minutes.
Fake Woke in early 2021, it
But
instantly
weirdly,
became one of the most
so you
talked
see,
about rap
you know,
songs online. It seemed to
it's
effortlessly
zooming into
top
this
radio
grid
charts.
of people
But there was one particular
talking about
reason
this
for
stuff.
this.
And then if
It
you go to
struck
every
a
type of
nerve.
paradox and movies explained in 16 minutes, it's this
The
different
grandfather
channel,
paradox,
but it has the
this
exact
paradox
same
kicks
format
in
where
when
it
someone
zooms
goes back in
in.
time and messes with events in a way that stops them from ever being born.
And this is exactly
If a
like
time
the
traveler
Game of
erases
Thrones one
their
too,
own
the
origin,
grandfather.
then
I wonder how
did
many there
they
are about
time
the
travel in
grandfather
first place?
paradox.
Back to the Future plays with this when Marty stops his parents from meeting, which nearly deletes him from reality.
Yeah, there's gotta be a million.
symbolized by his
But then I even found like, oh, this one doesn't play. But there was one, I think it was like the worst cave rescues of all time or something, and it's the exact same format. Like I don't know if there's some sort of AI extension or GitHub or something. I don't even know how to talk tech.
I know.
But
I know.
maybe there's some kind of thing you can load that just helps you make these AI explainers. I'm not really sure, but it did lead me to kind of, there's a certain kind of explainer that in the AI era reigns supreme, and I think it's the worst one of all. And it's called Explain It Like I'm 5.
Oh, yes.
Which, you know, I'm going to be honest, for work, I've had to test out Explain It Like I'm 5 before, and I didn't realize that you have to, like, not just say Explain It Like I'm 5, because if you tell an LLM that about, you know, like, explain the stock market like I'm 5, it's like, imagine your friend has toys, and then you have, it's like, they just mean, for some reason, they just mean the same thing. Give me an explainer, give me the Coles Notes, but they think of themselves as a 5-year-old, perhaps.
Yeah.
Because the immaturity of, but yeah, I got a couple of these. This is
Okay, great.
It's the Great Depression.
You woke up rich, then went to bed broke. No war.
Another
no
one of these
warning.
cartoons.
Just a terrifying crash that wiped out
It's also
$200
16
billion
minutes long. Like,
sent America's
there's no way a
spinal
5-year-old could
what
watch it.
5-year-old?
Hunger
Yeah, no.
and dust. So
Maybe
what
if
the
it was
hell
the
happened?
fentanyl video, which had
Let's
much
rewind
better.
to the party before the fall.
That video was frankly
Imagine
addicting.
waking up in 1922. The
Imagine
war is
waking
over,
up in
The mustaches
1922.
are ridiculous, and the economy? It's vibing. Factories are
It's
no longer
vibing.
tanks.
Oh my
They're
god.
toasters
This is a
and
chat
vacuum
GPT
cleaners.
script.
And the kind of refrigerators
Oh,
that say
yeah, you're right.
ice boxes are for peasants. New York's
Yeah.
skyline shoots
Yeah,
up
this is-
steroids.
that's
the kind of
ChatGPT
pulling these like
structure.
weird
Wi-Fi of the 20s,
metaphors.
loud,
Yeah.
everywhere, and nobody fully understands how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. There's this one. Then I found this one, especially the abbreviation ELI5. It's just like, what is happening? You've turned the concept of simplifying things so that you are just barely post-toddler, and then turned it into some sort of like tech bro acronym. It's just incredible. So this is
Hello everyone, my name is Dmitry Vinnik and I'm a developer advocate at Facebook Open Source. We're launching a new series of short videos about 1 minute in length where we're explaining a number of Facebook open source projects in the simplest way possible, or as the internet calls it, ELI5, explain like I'm 5 years old. Online, there is an entire culture built around this concept of explaining complex things without assuming any prior
entire
knowledge.
Do you think
As if the
a 5-year-old
person
would
was indeed
understand
5 years
this?
old. Reddit famously
Maybe
has-
a 5-year-old Serbian American. Yeah.
would understand. Well, here, let's check one of their episodes on Flow.
Hi everyone, my name is Joe Previtt. I'm a developer advocate on the Facebook open source team, and today I'm going to explain the project Flow to you like you're 5 years old. Let's go.
This is like the
Then he leaves it as like,
Facebook
hi,
developer.
hi, sweetie. Oh, do you like your snack?
Flow is a static type checker for JavaScript.
Oh yeah, 5-year-old
That means it can help you find
definitely
errors in your code before other people use your programs. When you're writing code, Flow follows you around inferring
cool.
what you're doing with your program.
I
If it
definitely
doesn't understand
think my
it,
dad
it
doesn't
asks
exist
you
anymore
to
when he goes to
clarify.
work. But
Flow was first open sourced at Facebook back in November of 2014.
Oh yeah, that
It's
now
used
that
at
is
Facebook
speaking
throughout
to
our
my
code
inner
base
child.
Wherever we write JavaScript. Want to see more? Flow has
see more?
documentation, an online editor, and a blog where you can learn more. You can also search for questions on Stack Overflow.
well, I can't type. I'm 5.
Using the Flow type tag.
I
If
don't
you
know
want
how
to see
to
more
use
videos
Stack
about
Overflow.
Flow, go ahead and smash that like button. Thanks for watching.
Oh wow.
So, and then this is the worst maybe thing I've ever seen in my life. So this was actually a Reddit web series called
Yeah, wow.
Explain Like I'm 5, and they have quite a few of these videos, but I think this is maybe the perfect one to close out on. This is Explain Like I'm 5, the crisis in Syria.
Like I'm 5. So kids, today we're going to learn about one of the most dangerous places in the whole world. Do you know where that is? Hint.
Is that the kid from Stranger Things?
Syria.
It kind of looks like him.
And Syria is in a region of the world called the Middle East.
So it's
Does
two.
anyone know any other country
For those who
that's in the
aren't
Middle
Miles
East?
and I, there's
Iraq, correct. So
two
a lot
teachers
of different
explaining
groups live
to
in
a bunch of
Syria,
5-year-olds.
And those groups for a long time were ruled by the French. But then the French left. And
This
all
is-
those different groups had a
Is
big
this supposed to be
argument
funny?
over who was going to
Maybe
be
it
in
is.
charge.
It's like that
Should
the
I be
kids won't
patient?
A guy by the
understand.
name of Hafez al-Assad took over.
It must
He
be, right?
transformed the government.
But there's no
Socialist
punchline. It's just kind of
So,
like
what does everyone want to be when they grow up?
A toy maker. A famous pop star.
A famous
Famous
pop star.
That's pretty cool, right?
So
That
in
seems-
Syria, they say, sorry, those are taken.
Everyone's
You
just
get
fighting
a
about
garbage
socialism
man.
in
Garbage
the
man.
comments
Garbage
on
man.
here.
Well,
I didn't
what
know that
happened
Reddit
was
made like
Hafez
in-house sketch
al-Assad
videos though.
died,
I didn't either.
And his son,
That already kind of speaks to the
Bashar, took
times.
over. Everybody thought that when Bashar took over,
Yeah, like
Syria was gonna
they
get so
at some point they had money to throw around. To
Everyone was like trying to
produce
make
something.
Everyone was trying to make their own Funny or Die at some point.
So the government is in charge of everything. At the same time, is a bunch of the countries around Syria started protesting.
I mean, I'm learning,
their
but I'm
totalitarian
I know.
government.
It's weird. It's
And
like this is
it's
actually
called the Arab Spring.
more appealing.
Arab Spring.
than anything I've seen yet.
The people in Syria thought, hey.
But yeah, it's there's no punchline. Like there's no joke.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should just see how it. I guess I also don't understand like who's the I'm 5 in this, because you are just explaining it to 5-year-olds, and I'm actually like voyeuristically watching.
Use his eyeballs for mini soccer balls. A parade. No, that's just silly.
It's more just like kids say the darndest things, I guess.
Slicing arms and turning eyes into soccer balls. That's a real solution.
Now, I was gonna play a clip from my goat, Sam Sutherland, but I will say this. As much as I hate explainers, I respect that Sam is going deeper, and like he'll find like weird things that have not been explained a billion times. Sure, he's still doing. Let's just listen to his voice for a second. Actually, I was gonna let him off the hook, but this exists. Lo-fi beats to experience the gnawing horror of loneliness and isolation too. I mean, I love the guy.
As much as online communities are at the forefront of
he's
technological
really good at the
advance,
explainer
with the
voice.
internet itself a kind of ever-expanding frontier, charting and chronicling the terrain of the possible, there are also communities full of people who want to resist this sort of relentless forward propulsion. Like in a world that seems increasingly hi-fi, have you ever considered going lo-fi? If you have, you're not alone.
He's pretty good at
The storytelling is better. It's way better. The production is more charming.
The production's better. It's like he knows he's doing the voice while he's doing it. I feel like he has my voice in his head making fun of him while he does it, so he sells it better. And like, I also think that he talks about these more. Like, I don't think this video is just about lo-fi beats to study and chill to. I think it's about
tension here, and it seems like you feel like this.
But it's like deeper kind of shit, you know?
It is are Adam Curtis documentaries explainer vids?
Oh shit. I wonder. What do you think? They might be.
Yeah, it might be. It might fall under the umbrella.
It very well could be. To be honest, I've never watched one, but I think from the vibes, the clips I've seen and the vibes, I think you're very. I mean, documentaries themselves are like have become explainers because people don't leave enough room for like humanity and pain. But I think the Adam Curtis ones are more obviously like they have a point of view at least. They're not. It's not just trying to feign getting you up to speed with the facts, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking about with Sam. Like he's doing like some actual storytelling with a connective tissue.
Right, exactly.
I'm seeing Sam as more of an Adam Curtis type,
right? Than
a Vox.
That's true. I think
so. If he listens to this,
we'll give him that. Sam, you passed the test, but you know. A lot of people are moving on from explainers. This is the last video of the show, and then we're going to wrap it up and stop explaining everything and go back to vibing out. But this is called Why We Stopped Making Explainers Explained. Shut the fuck up about it.
Good morning, John. It was October 26th, 2007, and you were explaining the political situation in Nepal while eating toilet paper.
Nobody has mouse rebels anymore.
It set the tone for a decade plus of us
this
doing
is from Vlogbrothers.
videos on this
yes,
channel.
I know
Brazil?
these guys. One of them lives in Indianapolis.
Yeah, we got that.
Oh, wow.
Syria, since it started
Yeah,
existing.
Now, is
exactly.
Indianapolis like?
Wow.
Does that make you feel fondness or animosity being located up there in Bloomington?
As it relates to John Green, complete neutrality. I think he's actually a great representation of like an Indianapolis guy.
100%. Let's
like
do it
someone
twice. Also, why not take on stuff in our
a
own
tired
country?
dad you see at the state fair.
Right.
For sure.
With like he's got a ringer tee, but it's like some sort of new ringer tee with like an epic bear on it.
Mm-hmm.
His bookshelf's looking similar to mine, and a lot of bullshit in the house, you know. But his delivery here is just like so millennial.
Existing. 100%. Let's do it twice. Also, why not take on stuff in our own country? Mass incarceration, net neutrality, Benghazi, tax plans. This has been a thing for the whole life of our...
He's kind of like, we were kind of talking over it, but he's just sort of eviscerated himself of all the explainers that he did and how it's like, Israel-Palestine in 4 minutes. Why not? Oh, eating toilet paper while I talk about, blah, blah, blah. But then he's like kind of like feigning this humility.
Some of our most successful content, people like it, we're pretty good at it, but we have kind of stopped doing it. And I started to wonder why that happened. It wasn't a thing. We didn't talk about it. It just stopped.
The dorky, it's like the dorky or millennial thing of like yelling.
Yeah, and like, he's kind of doing like different rage comics faces while he talks.
Now, you could say that your recent video about textbooks was an explainer. You could say my recent video about copyright was. But here's why I think those aren't explainers. Because they don't have the word explained in them, and they are clearly our perspective. The word explained to me says this is going to be my honest to God best effort attempt to actually explain.
I think the other problem is like there's this leftover from maybe Gen X that there is some possible version of, not only is there some possible version of objectivity when reporting on something, but that you could also summarize it very quickly and maintain that objectivity, whereas the very act of like deciding what to delete and keep is completely subjective, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Like any kind of curatorial process is subjective.
Not to just tell the story that works best for me. Because that's the thing about explainers. If you are tasked with giving somebody the whole story of this thing up until now, there is a huge amount of information you have to pick from. You are only going to pick some of it. And there's going to be a strong urge to pick the bits that tell the best
This guy's
story
interesting
for you.
because like, these other videos, I'm like, who's the audience? Who's the audience? I know his audience. And I think it's mostly like teenage girls.
What?
Because
really?
because he's like a young adult author.
Oh, like this is the guy who wrote. Wait, this is that John Green, The Fault in Other Stars. Holy shit, that's brutal. Good Lord, I don't know why I thought that guy would be a lot less like this. That's crazy.
It's the ultimate opportunity to shape a narrative, and the story that's going to be most compelling is probably going to be one that meshes well with your values and your biases.
Yeah.
Also, those of your audience. It's an extremely
or
easy
it might be his brother,
and
but
also have people not know.
But this is his channel.
His brother's also like
I'm not
this.
saying explainers are bad.
Here we go. This is the part I was hoping to get to. I skipped over this earlier, and he's doing a lot of the millennial grammar while he talks because there's, I don't know if he's done it, but there's the thing where you list this and that and that and that, like kind of a sing-song. But then when he's like, I'm not saying that explainers are bad.
I'm not saying explainers are bad. Honestly, I'm a little bit proud of whatever role we had in the rise of this format. Because I think it's like really important. This is an age when we are asked to have
arrogant
a lot
as
of opinions about a lot of things.
There's a lot of humble bragging.
Explanatory journalism can help a lot with that because I do not know how to feel about today's Brexit news unless I have some kind of refresher on the last 5 years of Brexit.
I think this office needs a window
is very
in it.
Clearly personal perspective stuff. Like, I can hit myself with a book.
Personal perspective stuff?
It's Timequake by Kirk Vonnegut. Did I say Kirk? I'm not doing that take again. It's become a lot more clear in the last couple of years that we as a society and the world have a really hard time telling the difference between journalism and opinion, and I don't want to be part of blurring the line between those two things. The other thing is that people started to do explainers really well, like better than we could, with editorial control, with expert interviews and highly trained journalists who spent their whole lives working on them, not just Tuesday. And actually, some of our later explainers, we started to do the same things, introducing those same controls and standards. It turns out, though, that that's really hard and takes a lot of time. It's almost as if we as a society need highly trained people who are dedicated only to the task of explaining reality to us. But worryingly, it seems like what people want is headed in the other direction.
Actually, it's kind of hard to tell because neither guy looks like him now.
Editorial structures. We want individuals.
I think John or Hank.
We can trust.
I think this is Hank. I do think this is Hank.
Values
oh yeah, you're right.
Very charismatic. Trusting a source based on charisma rather than like rigor.
It's like somehow growing up watching The Simpsons has turned people into like
doing so many
people that The Simpsons were making
maybe
fun
it's
of.
because we started to feel like we were part of that. I do think that we're good at them, though.
Like,
I do miss them.
Again,
but
he's qualifying.
Professor
If
Fink.
we do them again, we have to be very careful about what we're doing.
Every 10 seconds, he's like, by the way, we're really good at
So I guess it's
them.
a lot of stuff, but like down at the foundation of it, it's that I don't know that I trust myself to conjure the level of objectivity that
Conjure
I think the
level of
word
objectivity
implies. So
oh my god. Well, that's Explainers Explained. I think we've been asking the question, is this millennial excellence? I don't think that that's the accurate question, but I do think this is millennials' cross to bear, is the explainer. I think that we've ushered in, this was part of the journey of like information and truth and objectivity and like reality being distorted and lost, and and it's our fault because we were too lazy to read the whole thing or sit with some discomfort. So that's kind of cool actually, because it's a lot of rosy things. We're like, oh, we gave you stomp clap, haha, that's funny, but also we did help destroy knowledge as we know it. So I guess maybe it is a form of millennial excellence in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. If you how do I put this without relying on a cliche? I'll just rely on the cliche. If I put a gun to your head
September.
and made you make an explainer video, what would you do it on?
Okay. Am I allowed to research it, and do I have to be knowledgeable of it?
Well, there's a gun to your head.
So I have to do it right now?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, let me think. Probably Mad Magazine, actually. It's something I've read a lot. I could say enough, because the thing about the explainer also is that you only have to say enough that is like surface level. So I could tell you,
right,
like, you know, Mad Magazine was a comic book, but then they started censoring comic books, so they turned it into a magazine. I could tell you about like EC Comics. You know, that's kind of, it's a really nerdy choice. Actually, it's making me feel ashamed of myself. But I could fake that one. But how about you? What's your explainer? I already know what it is. It's Blade.
Oh, that would be, I would rock a Blade explainer. Yeah, that works for me. Yeah, the gun to my head. That's easy.
All right. Well, cool. I guess we're both living tonight.
Thank God, and we're really living too.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Father, husband, podcaster, streamer, author, weird Twitter architect, ne'er-do-well, rapscallion, American, sexy beast, and one lovely human being. We've got Jesse Farrar here on Millennial Excellence. Welcome to the show, Jesse.
Wow, I've never had an intro quite like that before. Thank you, Josiah.
I was hoping we wouldn't have the camera on because it made it a lot less funny and more intimate. You insisted on having camera on, and my God, I'm blushing over here.
I wanted to
see
beautiful,
your face.
Yeah, it's great.
I think it's an authentic. This is what I've been trying to push for more and more, is authenticity in media, and I think it's so important, especially in this day and age, right? To be authentic, and I think that's what I bring to the table.
That's a great. I actually do want to set the table with a modicum of authenticity, and just say, for the listeners at home, we are recording this ahead of time, and so there are a lot of current events that would be so great to be talking about, but we're just, because of time, I'm like, I cannot wait to see who wins the Hassan Charlie Kirk debate that's coming up. But we'll just have to see.
I'm going to be tuning into that from a few hundred yards away for sure.
Jimmy Kimmel's got some big guests, I would assume, this month.
Jimmy Kimmel coming up, yes, as well. I'm looking forward to seeing who all of our women, the women in our lives, will be voting for in the upcoming election. Mothers, daughters, grandmothers, they'll all be voting, and I'm curious to see who they go for in this election coming up soon. So that'll be cool to see. But we can't talk about it, like you said.
Yeah, because we're so far ahead of time. But no, speaking of being ahead of time, Jesse... Actually, Miles, why don't you drop the big cue that you like to drop off the top before we get started?
This is the big cue.
This is the meat
this is
of
how
the
we
show.
set the
This is what people
tone.
listen for. Okay.
Damn.
Jesse, when did you first realize you were the big M word? When did you realize you were a millennial?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. This is something that actually comes up more through the lens of talking with my children than anything else. It's more important to them, I think, to have this they'll ask me like, what am I? Am I, Gen Z or am I whatever, or Zoom or whatever? And I'm like, I say, I honestly don't know. Like, what sign am I? What group of age range am I in? And I have to answer them. I don't have any idea. But I guess I think about it when they ask me, who are you? The first thing I lead with now, I say millennial. That's what I say to my kids. They come home after school. They say, "Who are you?" And I say millennial. So that's probably in the last couple. I would say the last couple of years.
They forget who you are every day when they go to school.
Well, it's something we do. It's we do workshops in the car where we're bouncing ideas off of each other creatively. But also we're challenging each other and pushing those boundaries as well. So it's not, they don't just ask me, I also ask them. They get in the car and close the door. I say, who are you today? And that's just how that's how we start.
I mean, so you've admitted that you are a parent of children, which anyone who's listening to YCast, you never shut the fuck up about it, to be honest.
I've admitted that. I've been very forthcoming about that.
But the thing is, and with our weird timeline we're on, I don't know if you've had a baby yet or if you're about to, but
it's such a crazy timeline we're in right now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
But having a baby in the big 2025, like what the hell generation would that be?
Wow, yeah, what is that? Because I think the most recent one I know of is Alpha, right? Is there one beyond Alpha now?
Is it Beta? Are they called Beta? That doesn't seem right.
Surely not. Hey, come on, surely not.
You know how like
they need more fun descriptive names. Like we got millennial, I get it. Golden generation, silent generation.
Okay, that
fire. Goes hard.
We're not that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
We're not that,
we're
all.
the Yap
no.
generation Yap.
We are actually. That's a good name because wasn't millennial first called Generation Y?
See, that's the other thing is they sometimes change the names. It's very reminiscent of the the hurricane designations that they go through. Sometimes they'll be like hurricane, chrysanthemum. You'd be like, damn, shit, this one sounds, I'm excited to see what this one does. And the next one's like Hurricane James. You go, that sucks. I mean, sorry, that's not that good, is it? Hurricane James? That seems like the ho-hum hurricane. Who cares?
That's true. That is true. Alpha, is that like A? I know like growing up going to church or something that they would always talk about Alpha and Omega. Is that right. Z? Mm-hmm. Is Omega Z?
Well, Omega is the end. But the interesting thing about church is they think the beginning and the end are the same thing. And I don't think we can get in. I don't think we can get into that. If we don't have time to talk about the upcoming stuff, we definitely don't have time to talk about the rapture and stuff like that.
Right, the Omega of it. So does that mean that in the middle is just a whole bunch of fraternity names, probably?
Yes, your Sigmas, your Gammas.
Because some of them are too loaded. Sigma and Beta, those generations are inheriting a lot of baggage from posts about them.
But Sigma is good.
I don't know. I always just tune out when people talk like that.
Yeah, you tune out when you talk to preteens and stuff. I guess that's fine for you. That doesn't really. That's not really a part of your life.
I'm trying to neg them, so I don't really listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, but I mean, it sounds like you've deflected the real. I want to know because I think that you are a pretty millennial guy, and I think that's not an insult on this show.
Okay,
but it's maybe not a compliment either. It's just a fact. I think that being all the things I listed off the top, like playing video games and talking for a living, that's like the millennial. See. Here's what I think, because I've followed you for a long time, and like most of us, I remember you were like writing for blogs, and you, I think, wanted to be like a writer, and then like the world happens, and you're like, oh, being a writer is not a thing that it like existed for 10 years, and that was it, and you don't get to do that anymore. So I'm just curious about like the trajectory of being a millennial who, wants to write a TV show or wants to write for a blog, and then the reality of what happens next.
Yeah, no, I think that's astute, almost uncomfortably so.
Yeah. Well, if we didn't have the camera on, it would be fine, But
no, but I think that is definitely true, and you know this as well from your background. How that was a flash in the pan. It felt like it would be something that people could do forever.
You're like, I'm going to be a showrunner one day. And now Showrunner is the name of the AI app.
That comes to my house to kill me, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think I have always been inextricably linked to my location. Like we talked about a little bit before we got started. I don't live. Okay, well, I take that back. Now Nashville is something of a media zone, but not the media that I would want to be a part of. Like just for instance, I'm always reminded of it whenever I get. We talked a little bit about our studio here in my house. And I have these acoustic panels that I have been trying to add piecemeal because it's just coming out of my pocket. So I buy one, whatever, and I hang it up. And I go to a place called Music City Acoustics, and I really like those guys. They make a great product, and it's very affordable. That's an ad for them. And I realize that when I go in there, 90% of what they do is like mega churches, right? So I go, that's just like a reminder to me of like, oh, yeah. Or like I bought these cameras to do video for the podcast, and I bought it off of a guy in a Trader Joe's parking lot for $1,000, and he was doing it for like church stuff because that's who has AV budget like in this region of the world is churches.
I feel like anyone who knows like even how to do like bokeh or like I don't know After Effects, like they're doing it. They either learned it at a church or they're still doing like the morning announcements background and making it look sick as all hell, honestly. But
absolutely, yeah. The guys with the full body rigs, like motion, like going all the way around, like zooming in. It's Righteous Gemstone shit. But it's that, and it's country music, it's Christian, it's gospel music, all that stuff that's around here. That's the people who, or it's Ben Shapiro's production company or whatever the fuck. So like. There was never a time in my life where I was like, I will have a legitimate career in entertainment. There was a time in my life where I thought, I can make $300 to write an article online, and that will somehow like keep me afloat forever.
That's all you need. Yeah.
And I don't even know if I ever made $300. Like I said that because I think I heard of people who made $300. I don't know. I'm not sure if I ever did. So it was very quick, and I have like I was saying, I have older kids. I have a 13-year-old, so there was not a lot of time for me to be like figuring out how long I could survive off of $100 at a time.
Right.
That was not a long period of my life.
Is that Generation A, Alpha, 13 years old?
I want to say that's Zoomer, and then my middle child is Alpha, but. I think I guess I would have to ask them. I'm sure they talk about it.
Can you go get their birth certificates?
I think. Yeah. I'll be right back. You want the long form? There's a millennial joke.
That's true. Long form.
People don't know about that if you're not millennial.
Well, you did make us pivot to video. There you go. Boom.
Yeah,
boom. I don't want to dox both of you, but you kind of longitudinally live similar places because Miles is in Bloomington, although not the same time zone, which really fucks me up. But Miles is in Indiana. But I think
I'm in the precipice of Central, or I'm on Eastern. Yes,
I'm interested to think about like kind of, and Miles has mentioned this before, but kind of like when my wife works in Nashville, so I go there all the time, and I often ask Jesse if he wants to get dinner, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I haven't checked my phone in the last couple weeks." So all right, well, it is what it is. But
listen, the next time you're here, I'll look at my phone and say, "I'm sorry, I'm not driving into Nashville right now."
Exactly. But it is, something I do find interesting is like millennial kind of chuggy culture and like the slogans and the cute fonts and everything. It feels like that stuff's pushing into the center of the country, quite literally. And I think maybe both of you guys are experiencing that quite a bit. If you go to the mall, there's a pillow.
You're saying we live in flyover country, and therefore our culture is behind the times, behind where you live. Which I don't know if do you think where you live is the cultural vanguard? Is that what you think?
Well, I mean, where I live is like where evil trust fund art students are. So you do walk outside and they're dressed like just like comically evil, wearing like they look like they're from the first Fast and the Furious movie or like Belly or something. They just look fucking insane, and they're all sort of like vacant. So I'm actually saying you live in a millennial paradise that I love going because I love tchotchkes, as you can see behind me, and I love I love that bullshit. So I don't know. I'm just talking because it's a podcast. So
but I think Nashville has a more distinct. I actually think Nashville does push culture in certain ways. I think there's a lot of neon, bachelorette kind of things that a little bit country fried, pair of jeans that fit just right.
But that's where it fucks me up, because it's like I go to Nashville and I see like a neon sign with like a cute font, and like secretly deep down, I like it. I think it looks good. I kind of like it, you know?
Do you kind of like when a bar has like the fake Ivy wall on it as well? Is that something you fuck with?
I kind of do. I'm like,
yeah,
you know, I'm not going to be the one to say let's take a selfie in front of it, but if someone else did, I certainly wouldn't turn it down. Yeah, you know, we could as a joke or something, you know.
Yeah, well, we're kind of like going like, you know, kind of, it's a joke, but we're kind of feeling it still. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of millennial stuff here. All of the apartment buildings, I don't know if this is the way in Bloomington, but all of the apartment buildings are the very boxy, mixed material, industrial style look with a grocery store on the bottom. That's enormous here, and they're $1 million. So that's very millennial coded, I think. But then
I love that.
If you can escape that and get into the gentrified neighborhoods, that's where you're really going to shine, because that's where you get the $1.5 million, $2 million mid-century modern half renovated flip, and that is so millennial coded as well. At least in this part of the world, that's like the millennial dream, is getting in there with some
getting a mid mod,
with some restored furniture and stuff like wood paneling on the walls and shit like that. That's enormous for this area. So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, because millennials, on the one hand, you know, there's millennial pink, there's what you just described, but then I think like the Airbnb grayish look is also millennial. But maybe it's just because millennials are overthinking everything too much.
Well, you have anxiety and ADHD. That's the other thing you didn't.
Right, exactly.
You know.
Jesse, we've talked a lot about being ahead of the time, and we were talking before the call about how I'm still on Twitter. And you're a Blue Sky fella now. But I think you were very ahead of the time on Twitter, because nowadays on Twitter, everyone seems to be Bronze Age, or I'm the Bronze Age guy. And you're kind of the original Bronze Age guy on Twitter.
That's an interesting way of putting it. I wouldn't have put it that way, but that's interesting. I've not thought about that.
No, but honestly,
I guess the word is similar, though, which is true.
I mean, it's the same word, yeah.
Well, yeah, right.
So it's not similar. It is the same. It seems to be Bronze Hammer.
Similar
is
what? It falls under similar falls under the umbrella of same. Yeah.
I mean, a Bronze Hammer is a little bit more violent than like Bronze Age. I actually don't even know what any of those people's names are.
A hammer can be constructive.
Oh, that's
true.
true.
Uses a hammer.
It doesn't just have to tear down; it can also build up.
But I think this is probably going to be the worst part of the show with cameras on looking at you. But I did want to ask you about your Twitter, because I do think that you've dropped some classics, and I think that you've really captured the millennial zeitgeist in certain ways. And one thing I want to ask you about is the concept of like needing a treat. And I didn't pull up. I'm not going to read your tweets to you because that's awful. But I remember you had all these like just, you know, rolling around needing a treat every day, or just like, what's your relationship with treats as a millennial?
Wow, that is incisive and insightful.
This is Marion, bitch. We're going deep. No. I'm going to make you cry.
This is good. This feels like Nardwuar, dude, which I know you're familiar with up there. That's a good point. I think for a while, definitely that was an expression of my id. You know, what do you talk about? The things you like. I've now pivoted the entire other direction, and the only thing I talk about is the stuff I don't like, which is a list that's growing, I find. It's hard now to find things. Yeah, I don't know what I like anymore, which is a big problem. You know, I do think there is, millennial stuff. What millennial doesn't like going to Costco and overspending and overcommitting on a new kind of treat? And you just hope it's good. And if it's not good, there goes 3 weeks of your life right there. That sucks, you know?
Actually, that's a good point, is like going to the store. I think, at least for me as a millennial, if it has a cute label, if there's a guy on the label or a nice font, I think it's better no matter what. I don't know anything about olive oil, but it has a little guy on it. I'm obviously going to buy that.
Aesthetics is very important to our generation. Maybe almost too much, you might say. I just think, yes, for me, there was definitely a time, and it was when I was a lot fatter and a lot drunker, that was like occupying my frontal lobe like more. I had to hit my pleasure center all the time with a new beer or a piece of candy or whatever. And now, depending on when this comes out, now with either a 1-year-old or a 0-year-old or a 2-year-old, however old he is at this time, I've wafted a little bit back in that other direction where I'm kind of like, I'm not exercising quite as much as I wished I was. I'm a little more sitting around on my ass type of stuff. I got a big bag of the Kirkland signature s'mores treats sitting in the pantry. I grab one after dinner. Do I sometimes grab one after lunch? I don't know. Listen, what is this? Nobody's counting them.
That's I can't remember you don't have to say your age if you don't want. I mean, we say it all the time. It's not really, it's kind of a safe space, but
I think as long as I'm younger than one of you guys, I'm not going to be young. Miles looks young. I'm not going to be younger than him.
Yeah, Miles is so young.
Josiah looks young.
I have the voice of a teenager and the face of a haggard old man who's melting.
You could be 60. I would if you said you were 60, I would say okay.
I'm 59, but no, okay, I'm 40.
Do I look young now?
Oh, the hat was doing a lot of work. I'll say. Look, as a hatsman myself, listen. We're part of the same. We're part of the same fit. We're all in the family here together.
I thought you were going to start also yelling at Miles about the Pacers, but I don't know much about that sort of thing.
I support the Memphis and Indiana. There's a lot of DNA there that I think we share as fans of those teams. Mm-hmm. No, I want nothing more than success for fellow small market except for Oklahoma City. But everybody else in the small market, let's get it.
Yeah, and we're in different conferences. There's no.
I don't want you to do this, guys.
Blood.
Shut up. Shut up.
Millennials like sports. That's part of it.
Jesse, how old are you?
I am 37 years young.
Okay, so you are closer to my end of the spectrum than Miles, who is, I think, 33, 32?
I'm 33, so he's actually,
right in... No, he's closer to me. I'm 40. Millennials are not good at math. Oh, you're turning 33?
Arithmetic is tough.
See, Miles is that young that he still says, I'm turning this age.
Turning, yeah.
I'm 32 and a half.
Month, Miles. Jeez.
Exactly. But... I think, Jesse, something that's forgotten among these young bucks is that early millennial stuff. I don't know if you were on Tumblr at all, but it was there was this website called This Is Why You're Fat, or it was we idealized drinking cheap, shitty beer and trying to kill ourselves with food. And then it sort of flipped and everyone's into intermittent fasting and healthy stuff. But early millennial to late millennial, there's a massive, both of them I think are dangerous, overthinking food probably, but...
Yeah, it's almost why I don't subscribe to the generational divide, just because it's so easy to oversimplify. But yes, certainly preoccupation with diet of any stripe, that's something that comes up a lot, I feel like, among my peers. Yeah, and is that just we're getting to that age where you're starting to think about this type of stuff? I don't know, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, that conversation comes up, certainly.
I mean, I think when I first moved out, I was like, I'm going to eat Captain Crunch for every meal. All the time, or I'm, you're just like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a hot dog 12 times a day, but yeah, I don't know.
You can do that.
You can, and you'll pay.
You can
for
do that
it.
for a little while.
Someone's gonna think you look 60 years old on the call.
Yeah,
I love it. Okay, you said another thing that I love right now is not subscribing to the generational thing, because that's something that a lot of, I think, millennials are saying, and some Gen Xers say it, but I think it's what's that about? I think there's an interesting insecurity there that we all have, because let's be honest, we're millennial as fuck. There is just from a mile away in a lineup of people, we would be spotted instantly.
I think it's funny because I was recently, I don't know, a couple months ago, we took the kids up to the Smoky Mountains, and we came back through Knoxville, which is where I went to college. And just for fun, since we hadn't been there since 2010, we drove through the campus a little bit just to see how it had changed. And of course, it had changed massively and for the worse. But seeing the students, I assume students, on campus was such a fucking trip. And I told my wife, I was like, I'm looking at the students walking around and I'm going, that looks like me. But of course, it doesn't look like me. I know, intellectually, I know that doesn't look like me. But that feels like me still a little bit. And I think it would be shocking for me to get out of the car and say hello to someone on the street. They wouldn't think, oh, are we in the same class? They would think, sir, are you lost? Can I help you find your grandchild or something? So I understand that. So, yes, mentally, I think I'm in a different place than I am physically. I guess the thing that just turns me off about it is that it does become sort of this heuristic for not like identification, like not even just lifestyle stuff, almost like destiny type of stuff, which I think is such a weird turnoff. Like,
what do you mean by that? Destiny type of stuff?
Well, I just mean like people use it. It's like a wish casting thing. It's like an explanation type of thing. It's horoscope in nature, I think, to a lot of people in a way that I don't know. I bristle at.
So then, what the fuck should our show be about?
I don't mean to undercut the premise of the show. I think if you want to talk to a bunch of 30 to 40-year-olds on a podcast, you're not going to have any shortage of it.
Yeah, I think you're totally right, but I also think like your situation is uniquely like what you've done with your life and the fact that you can make a living making this great content that is, it's kind of like having your own TV shows, but it's obviously not, and probably a lot more work. But I don't think that any other generation, or at least for a long time, will land in your exact position, probably.
I think that's true, yeah. And it's something I'm thinking about either in this moment or in some moments several weeks or years into the future as well, depending on when this comes out, is like right now thinking about what is allowed to be on television. And I think Ben Collins from The Onion was talking a little bit about it, like, hey, we actually are doing our independent shit with this, and it's going pretty fucking good. And people will pay for stuff that is good, even if it's like weird or if it seems like retrograde in the sense of like they're sending out physical papers or whatever. Like, there's a market for this type of stuff, and I think that's like encouraging. But I also, on the other hand, make a specific point to never go into my kid's school and tell their peers in class with them what I do for a living, for privacy reasons, for one thing. Like, I don't think my kids like need that like baggage at school. But also, it's irresponsible. Like, I genuinely think it would be irresponsible for me to tell specifically the boys in their classes, 12 years old, I play video games and podcasts for a living, and you can too. I think that's insane. Like, I wouldn't encourage that. I also think they'd probably be bad at it. But I think it's like that's not what they need to hear. I don't think they need to hear that. This is not realistic, and it gets less realistic by the day.
That's true. Yeah, it's like it's like when people used to tell us to go to the UCB school or something.
Sure, or you talk about writing earlier. Like, why don't you walk into the Boston Globe and put your application in? I mean, Bill Simmons wrote about this in the fucking early 2000s, right? Like, why don't I just become the sports columnist at the Globe? Well, because Bob, what's his fucking name, is there, and he's been there for 40 years. Like, that's his job. Like, there's one of those jobs. It doesn't exist, to you. It might as well not even be there. So the fact that it's so visible is just like a trick.
That's true. Okay, speaking of writing, I love to poke you and annoy you, but I do think that truly you have written some of the best tweets of all time. And the one that will not ever leave, which is, I don't think that funny, but it's important, is the old Donnie wriggle his way out of this gym, well, nevertheless. And I was curious, I was only reminded of it because I was logging into Blue Sky the other day to try to get you to fucking respond to me because you ignore all my texts always. But
that's not true. You're overstating that. I had one weekend where I was really busy.
I'm just joking. It's a fucking pod. We can joke, okay?
We can joke on it, but I don't want people listening to be like, JF's not a text back guy. I have friends who have
He has friends who he texts back. It's true. I'm sure he does.
And I don't know how true that is. But you ever see somebody's phone and they have like 300 text or like 1,000 text? I don't do that. I can't do that. That's not the.
It's just if I text.
It's only Josiah, and if it's I'm in the car and the car reads it and then the notification goes away, so then I don't see it anymore after that. That's what the issue is.
All I'm trying to say is I logged into Blue Sky the other day against my will, and something I thought was really hilarious is like in your Donnie Trump wriggle out of this tweet jam, you use a perfect annoying millennial phrase at the end. You say, well, nevertheless, which is like, it makes my skin crawl. It's so... There's like something we're leading up to because it's too much to talk about, but is like millennial grammar and these sort of the ways that we speak. But well, nevertheless, really like hit me hard, and I always think about it. And I logged into Blue Sky the other day, and Will Stansel, the the political guy, I don't really know much about him except it seems like everyone hates him. But he was saying something, and he used the phrase "ah well, nevertheless" in his like political thing. So I feel like that's your influence. I feel like you're influencing Will Stansel.
Well, I mean, that's huge for me, obviously, to influence Will Stansel. Just considering who he is or what he does or whatever. I think that I agree with you. I also don't like reading it. I don't know why I wrote that. But I do think that, and I don't think this is giving me credit because I don't care or want it. I think that has entered the lexicon in some small way. And it is totally meaningless and hasn't done any good for anybody. But yes, that is true. People who have columns in newspapers will reference that, and
they'll say, "Oh well, nevertheless."
Okay, well that's good, I guess.
And you're getting the residuals naturally, the checks coming in next month.
You know, it's regrettable. I think sometimes when I think about that, like if you think about that with me, you know, I think about it with Casey Green, the comic artist.
Oh, yes.
Who has, a ton of very excellent work, who is, probably mostly known for the This Is Fine dog, which has had an even, massively larger influence on culture, and is, like, constantly ripped off for, like, physical merchandise and everything under the sun. Like, you just think about, like, that and how it also expresses, I think, really succinctly a particular idea that has staying power and legs and applies to lots of different things, and people use it all the time. I think Casey Green has maybe made a little bit of money off of it in a way that I haven't, which I hope that's true. But I think about the same thing. Like, you just have to go like, well, I guess even if this were the most important thing of all time, even if I did say Hawk Tua on the street, I would still have to do a podcast and then abandon it and then do a crypto rug pull and then just sit around and then go back and get a regular job, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird phenomenon. Nobody ever asked me about it.
That's kind of my last question, unless, Miles, you have anything, is like, so in my own life, like, I really wanted to be a music writer because I was also tricked into thinking like, oh, you'll make it. And then you get there and you're like, oh my God, I can't live off of $20,000 a year or whatever. So you just kind of, you keep going. You've achieved, like, you don't have to go into an office. Your job is ostensibly, not to minimize it, but from a distance, it's like you're having a laugh with your friends, and there's a bunch of bullshit involved. But
sure,
at what point are you like, when will I have a normal guy job? Or you think you could just do this forever? Or do you feel like as you get older, you're like, I would like to do an adult job now?
Well, I think the problem with that is that I have not developed any skills that would seem to give me any advantage in a typical workplace. And I also don't think I have that, grifter's tongue of like, I didn't have a job for 35 years, but that's fine, and I'll tell you why. Like, I don't really have that either. And I make a living at this, which, I feel incredibly lucky to do, but I don't make such an incredible living that I can stop doing it at some time either.
Right.
So that is something I think about, I think almost every second of every day. But I haven't really come up with anything good yet. I'm playing the Powerball when I can, which is good. I don't know what it is. When you think about people who do this for a living, like 1 or 2 notches above me, in terms of what they must be making on an annual basis.
Like Kill Tony or something.
Maybe 4 or 5 notches above me. Almost no one has this as their only thing. This has given me like a lot of pause. Like, I think about this all the time. Even people who make more money than me at this don't have this as their only thing. They're actors, or they're stand-ups, or they're on fucking SNL. Like, if you're doing this, you're doing what I do all day long, and it's like your jack off time at the end of the week, because the rest of the time you're in the SNL writers' room or you're fucking on TV or something like that. That seems like more sustainable, or there's like an obvious off ramp for those people. You know what I mean?
Maybe
you quit your podcast and you're in some weird Greek guy's movie now or whatever. Like that's that's like a career path for some people. Or you're like a business guy and you sell Earwolf and you make $35 million or whatever, and you do nothing all day. You sit in Lakers games for the rest of your life. Like that doesn't seem like it's in the cards either. So is the tech off ramp is there? The like more legitimate actor off ramp is there. I don't have access to either of those seemingly, and that window, if it was ever open, I mean, is like slamming hard, slamming closed so hard. As I become 40 years old, there's very few like I turned 43 and became a world famous actor stories. That doesn't really happen.
Just give me 3 years. All right.
So I don't know. I don't think I'll ever have a regular job ever again. And I don't know how long I will be able to do this either. So I don't know. I think it feels tenuous. It feels both incredibly tenuous in the sense that I don't know how someone could do this at 50 or 60 years old, but it also feels like the most secure type of income you could ever ask for, because of course it's subscription based, which every company on earth would kill themselves to exchange their annual revenue for subscription based revenue. Right. Everyone wants that. It's the most solid thing you could get. And also, like, thousands of people would have to decide that I'm a piece of shit all at once for it to stop. Like, it's not just like I piss off one guy and he fires me. Like, it has to be a lot of people who hate me. Right. So it feels very secure in that sense.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? I don't know.
Just a reminder, Jesse
it's
doesn't
a weird
text
position.
back, so that's one thing for everybody. No, I appreciate the honest answer, but I do think that's very relatable. Even though no one has your situation, a lot of people have that exact situation in different ways. But
yeah.
What's the last question, Miles?
Jesse, is a hot dog a sandwich?
That's a really good question, Miles. Miles was keeping his powder dry a little bit, and then he absolutely fucking exploded.
If you did get a real job, you would still be answering that question every fucking week in your weekly stand-up. So,
yeah, is that part of like actual applications now? Like you have to. I'm asking ChatGPT what it is, and then I'm just putting that answer on there. That's
that's a good idea. Wow,
yeah.
I would love to see that. I had a fight with ChatGPT about his, and then it ends up that the person becomes completely schizophrenic and believes that they're a god.
Yeah, and they do some kind of mass violence. Yeah, that would be definitely an interesting story. We'll have to see if that plays out or has already played out by the time you guys hear this. Yeah, keep us in the loop.